Howdy everyone, welcome to the J76 Gaming Podcast, episode number 16. I am your host, Jimmy Wild, and this week we'll get into the news, briefly going over Intel Rocket Lake, Nvidia and AMD GPU rumors, and of course a little bit of Black Friday and Cyber Monday silliness. Then we'll take a quick look at some AMD and therefore new console production numbers for the fourth quarter, some speculation, and some fuzzy math. And then we'll do a quick collection update with some of my limited run orders that have started to arrive. And after that, we'll go into what I've been playing, which is mostly PlayStation 5 stuff. And then we'll get into the main topic this week, which is the G4TV reunion and the relaunch. And as always, there will be timestamps in the description, so if you want to skip around, go ahead. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe for all sorts of new stuff. Reminder that I'm all over the place with gaming and hardware, so who knows what will come out next. Really, it's whatever pops into my brain at the time goes up on the channel, so if you like a surprise, then this is the channel for you. But now that the intro is over, let's get into the news. Alright, so let's get into the news. Let's go ahead and get the browser up. Whoops. Alright, so let's start off. Got my notes. Start off with the... This microphone's ginormous. I was like, I'm going to look at the notes. I can't even see it. But anyways, let's... There. Okay. So, in the news, first we got Rocket Lake from Intel. So, I don't know if you've been watching Intel stuff or whatever, but they are seriously in need of an answer to AMD's Zen 3. So it sounds like we're going to get it coming March next year. So that's fine. It's good. I am happy for the competition. I'm also happy for AMD to do really well. So whatever. But kind of... I don't know, there's not a ton of information here. We'll see more as it gets closer, but the couple things that I want to point out is PCIe Gen 4. So thankfully we're getting that. What else did I see? Double digit IPC gains. All right, so that's good. So here, that's what I wanted to point out. So the question is, will they be able to compete with AMD? And I think the answer is going to be yes. And the two things that they need to do, well, I guess there's three things. So they need to bring PCIe Gen 4, which they're doing. They need the IPC gains. And now they're saying double digits. So, I mean, I think right now, maybe AMD is beating them. But if they can bring out 10, 15% IPC, which would be big, then I think they're fine. I think they're going to compete with AMD. Maybe beat them. I don't know. I think there's a real potential for Intel to reclaim the best gaming PC, CPU crown. So we'll see about that. That'll be interesting. And then, of course, the other thing they need to compete on is price. If they're going to still try to charge a bajillion dollars for their flagship, whatever core count that is, AMD is still going to win. So even with AMD's little price, $50 price premium increase, I don't think that Intel still has to beat them on price. I don't think they can compete head to head on price. All right, moving on. Yeah, moving on. So that was March. Next year we'll find out. All right, so 3060 Ti. So we've heard plenty of rumors and plenty of news, if you want to call it news, about new Nvidia CPU or GPUs. So we all know that there's more coming than the 3080 and the 3090, and then we got the 3070. We know there's more because there's always more. And so it looks like we got a 3060 Ti. I mean, they can just make crap up now, right? It's like, oh, we're going to have a 3050, we're going to have a 3060, we're going to have a 3060 Ti, we're going to have a 3070 Ti. Whatever they're going to do, they have plenty of options, and they'll just do it to respond to AMD or to get out in front of AMD, but whatever. So I think this 3060 Ti at $400 is interesting because the price, $400, is still a lot of money. But if they can bring, what they say, 2080 Super Performance, which was a $700 or $800 card, if they can bring that performance for $400 now, that's pretty good. And I think it puts AMD in a pickle, because the 6800 is like $580, which is, I don't know. I won't get into those cards right now. I already talked about them a bunch. But $400 really undercuts the 6800. So let's get to the next thing. Next thing is, oh look, AMD has another card. Surprise. Anyway, so we got a 6700 XT and 6700 potentials, potentially coming in January. I don't think there's price listed here. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's going to be less than the 6800 price and less than the 6800 in performance. But is it going to hit around $400 to compete directly with the 3060 Ti? Maybe. Probably. Could be. Let's find out in a little over a month. But yeah, I mean, the graphics card wars are in full effect right now. But, spoiler alert, you can't buy any of them, so it doesn't really matter. I know, that was a real downer. But that's the world we live in, right? Alright, so let's do a little fun thing here. Where's my... So last week we talked about AMD, an overclocker taking an AMD 6800 XT all the way up to 2.65 gigahertz, and that was on stock cooling. Asterisk was stock cooling on the GPU, but the CPU is on LN2. So, like I said, I think the GPU is getting a little benefit of the of the LN2 floating around. But this time we have a 6800 XT with a LN2 pod on it, and it destroyed the record again. Surprise. But I'm really impressed. 2.8 gigahertz. That's crazy. Crazy talk. Because I think, what is it, out of the box is 2.3? Something like that. 2.3, 2305, I think it is. But yeah, that's interesting. It's going to be real fun to see, as more and more of this competition goes on, to see how far people can push these cards. All right, so... Oh, yeah, I was going to talk about Black Friday. Yeah, much like the AMD and Nvidia GPUs, Black Friday was here, and guess what? Everything you wanted was out of stock. Or the website crashed, or there was a queue, and then it was out of stock. And surprise. Yeah, not cool. Cyber Monday, though, everything should be perfectly great tomorrow for Cyber Monday. Oh wait, no, it's going to be out of stock. But with that, a couple things. Sony, more PlayStation 5 units are on the way before the end of the year. So that's good news. But whatever they ship, they could ship 10 times as much and still sell it. So it's not going to be enough. But at least they're saying there's more coming. I think, yeah. So they had a official tweet. We want to thank gamers everywhere for making the PS5 launch our biggest console launch ever. Demand for PS5 is unprecedented. God, they love that word. Everyone loves that word right now. It's unprecedented. Continuing. So we wanted to confirm that more PS5 inventory will be coming to retailers before the end of the year. Please stay in touch with your local retailers. So it's good stuff. All right. So with all of that said, let's move to the next thing I got here. So this is just for funsies. This is all just silliness. So don't worry about this too much. But I did find it interesting. I saw this on Reddit, and I looked it up on Twitter, and I found Nerd Tech. I have no idea about Nerd Tech. I don't know. So whatever. But they do have this information. Now, AMD uses TSMC 7 nanometer for the CPU for the PlayStation and for the Xbox Series. Now, they are set to use 120,000 wafers for the fourth quarter dedicated to the next gen consoles. And that is 80% of their 7 nanometer production. So 80% is going to consoles and only 20% is going to the big Navi into Zen 3, which that's good news for consoles, bad news for those of us that want to buy CPUs and GPUs. But couple things. So NerdTech followed up with NerdTech, AMD needed to devote 185,000 wafers to consoles to meet the demand of, not even the customer demand, just the demand of what Microsoft and Sony wanted to produce and wanted to get to retailers. So anyway, but that's interesting. But if you're like, dude, what's wafer? Like, what does that mean? Let's take a look. So once again, for funsies, I found this die per wafer calculator, and I just think it's fun to look at. So if you are curious and you want to play around with this, I have the Zen 2 chiplet specs that you can kind of put into this, and it'll give you, it's kind of hard to see because it's small, but it'll give you a kind of a layout of what the wafer will look like and how many good and bad and partial dies that you can get from it. So anyway, the dimensions are 10 millimeters wide, 7.4 millimeters height. I didn't know what to set the horizontal and vertical scribe lanes to. I left them as default. I know that the wafer diameter is 300 millimeters and the defect is about 10%, so 0.1. And then if you hit that, then you get a nice little diagram of what how many dies you can get per wafer. And it's kind of fun to look at, but it's interesting because I can't really see. Where's my glasses? 7. What is that? I had to zoom in. Manual zoom. 721. So let's do bloop. All right. So we'll do 100. Oops, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. 120,000 times 721. That's 86.5 million. Crazy. So there you go. We're getting 86.5 million consoles this fourth quarter. Just kidding. That's not true. But it is interesting because one of those, or one console uses one of these for the CPU. So if that's all they were doing, there's a lot. But anyway, but yeah, that's a ton. That is a ton. But like I said, just for funsies, just so you can, just to put into perspective what some of these numbers look like. But knock yourself out. Start looking this up, and I don't know. It's just goofing around. All right, well, let's switch off the news for a bit. Let's go into collection stuff. So where is that? Let's get that out of here. So what'd I get? So I talked about last week, I think, the limited run, some of my limited run orders were starting to ship, and some of them are arriving. So what I got PlayStation 4 as Divine Kimura. That is a kind of a retro RPG. I don't know. I probably won't get around to playing it, but I just got it because it was limited run. What else we got? So we got Seek Hearts. Another PS4 kind of retro RPG. And I just realized that I'm like holding up my wounded knuckle. I scraped it on some concrete. Gross. I will try to stop doing that. What else did I get? So this one I'm kind of interested in. I'm gonna try to hide. Actually, you know what? I have two hands. I can use the other hand. Indigo Prophecy. So I'm actually kind of excited about this one. This one will probably get played a little bit more. So this is by Quantic Dream. They're the ones that did Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human, which are both really good games. So action adventure. I really don't know much about it, but it's like, it's one of those things, like you say Heavy Rain, you say Detroit Become Human, I'm like, yeah, I'm in, I want to play it. But anyway, that's the collection update. I still have more limited run stuff coming soon, but all right, moving on. What have I been playing? Well, I've been playing some Godfall, and I think I burned myself out on Godfall. So I got wrapped up in the end game, like the loot grind, and it's frustrating, and I don't love it. Like, I like the game. It's very frustrating. I like it. But what happened is I went for like 4 hours the other day. Had to been, yeah, it was Thanksgiving. I went 4 hours and I didn't get a legendary drop. And I was like, are you kidding me? This sucks. And I quit. I didn't rage quit. I kind of like sad quit. I was just like, this sucks. I mean, I'll get back to it eventually, but what else? I've been playing Demon Souls. That's pretty good. And interesting points. Well, I won't skip ahead. I'm not like a huge fan of the Souls games. I played Bloodborne a while back, and I didn't love it. Basically, these games are brutal. That's the whole point of them. So I get that. And I don't normally like that. I don't like it at all. But I think what happened this time is Godfall actually set me up to play and enjoy Demon Souls. Now, why is that? Because I think kind of the methodical combat in Godfall, where because of the animation lock and because of the action queuing, that you're really forced to be methodical with your attacks. You really have to kind of think them through. Like, there is a argument to be made in Godfall that you can button mash, but it's definitely not the best way to play, I guess. But anyways, so that kind of got me in this position to go into Demon Souls, because Demon Souls, you really have to think about what you're going to do. You got to parry, you got to dodge, you got to attack, you got to move, and it's all sorts of good stuff. But yeah, I think Godfall really put me into position. And I will say, as frustrating and as brutal as Demon Souls is, I have sworn and yelled at Godfall for being BS. I have sworn more at Godfall than I have at Demon Souls. And I probably played 8 or 9, 10 hours of Demon Souls, and I probably only yelled at the TV like maybe 4 or 5 times. And when you're playing Godfall and you're doing like boss battles, you're yelling at the TV basically constantly because it's crap. Yeah. I'm sorry. Like, I shouldn't talk so bad about Godfall. I really like it. It's actually kind of fun. But it just needs some work. So what do we got up next? Probably more Demon Souls, but hopefully in the next couple of days I'll get my Xbox Series X, and then I'm really gonna dive into some of the Game Pass Ultimate stuff. But I've been waiting for the Series X to play Star Renegades, and that is not a title that requires the horsepower of a Series X, but I just been waiting. I was like, once I get it, then I'll be on Game Pass and I'll be able to get it for free. I bought it on PC because I want to support the developer, but I want to play it on Xbox. But anyway, and then I want to play some more Demon Souls because that's kind of cool. And I was actually just looking, and Amazon has my delivery date for my Xbox as Wednesday, December 2nd. I gotta look now. What is it? Where's my mouse? Yeah, Wednesday, December 2nd. And then this morning I looked, and UPS tracking had it as tomorrow, the 30th. I was like, sweet, I'll take it. And now I looked again, and they've updated it till Tuesday. So who knows when I'm going to get my Xbox. But at least it's close. It's in San Antonio. It's 2 hours away. I don't know why it takes 3-4 days to get from San Antonio to Austin, but whatever. All right, so let's go ahead and get back into like our main topic today. And I want to bring, oops, don't click on that. Back. Here we go. Bring the browser back. So G4TV. It's coming back, baby. All right. So for those of you that don't remember or didn't watch or haven't thought about it in a while, G4TV was a TV network all dedicated to gaming content. And by all dedicated to gaming content, I mean some, because there was a lot of, I think it had a lot of wrestling, and it had the Ninja Warrior type contests on it. But it did have stuff like X-Play and Attack of the Show, and what was the other one? Like Cheat, and I don't know. Anyways, it was a lot of gaming content, and it was probably a little bit ahead of its time. So hopefully when it comes back, it'll be more widely accepted. But I had some thoughts. And my first thought after watching the reunion, so they did a reunion and it's on YouTube. I'll put a link, but you can just go ahead and Google a very special G4 reunion. But anyway, so one of my first thoughts was, is my memory of G4 TV better than G4 TV actually was? Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that, because after watching this reunion special, and I was like, oh Lord, this content is awful. And I'm sorry, I love you guys, but yeah, G4 TV. Okay, I wrote down the reunion special. I was like, is very special, but probably not in the good way. But this is another thought I had. It's like, all of the content that they showed a bunch of like vintage content. God, it was so bad. It's so like just fake and scripted, and it's cringy. Like, it's cringy to look back at some of this, and I'm like, ugh, God, we used to watch this and like it. Now, maybe I'm just old. That's fair. Fair argument to make. And I have consumed a lot of content over the years. And maybe my expectations for quality gaming content have just gone up a lot. And so anyways, but So anyways, about the special, I started off and I saw like Morgan and Adam and I was like, whoa, this is awesome. And then they started talking and showing clips and I was like, ooh, not as good. But that was cool. Olivia Munn is there. She's probably the biggest star coming out of the network. But that's pretty cool. And it looks like she's coming. Actually, I was going to skip ahead because it looks like she's going to be a big part of the new G4TV launch next year, both on and off camera. So that's cool. I really like Olivia Munn. I didn't know much about her, and I guess I still don't, but I did watch an interview with her on the Whitney Cummings podcast, Good For You, and that was pretty interesting. It's interesting to hear like long form discussions, interviews with people. So that was cool. If you want to go look that up, like I said, it's Whitney Cummings, Good For You. And if I remember, I'll put a link in the show notes. So what else I write down and wrote? I hope they kind of upgrade, modernize the content a little bit. Like I said, I don't think any of the old shenanigans are gonna fly anymore. At least, especially not with the older gamer folks. I hope they just focus on gaming news content. Some comedy. Comedy's great. Love comedy, but I don't think we need to have people dressing up in French-made outfits and jumping into a ginormous pie, like that sort of stuff. Some of it's just ridiculous. And it's like, that's kind of funny. It's like, oh, they jumped into a pie. That's funny. And then you're like, it's not that funny. But let's go up one more. So, oops. Hey, there's a little behind the scenes. Had the inspector up to remove some of the ads out of the web pages. So, one of the first on-air announcements of talent is Xavier Woods, and I don't know anything about him other than like what has been presented so far, because he's a wrestler and I don't watch wrestling. But apparently there was some huge campaign, and he crowd support got him a job with the new G4. So hey man, good stuff. Like, I kind of like that, because you got a legit fan of gaming, and I mean, if he can survive in the WWE, then he's got something. He's got some presence. So hopefully that's pretty cool. And like I said, if he's legitimate gaming, which it sounds like he is, then that's pretty cool. Like, I definitely don't want to see posers on the new G4. But of course the disclaimer is that, like, I don't watch wrestling. I'm over wrestling, like that manufactured drama and shenanigans. Just, I don't know, it doesn't sit with me anymore. So I hope they don't bring too much of that into the new G4. But anyway, I think that's it for my thoughts on G4. I think we'll probably call it. I'm tuckered out, man. It's been a long week. But anyway, I will shut up and I'll see you next week.